What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 59 of The Scope. I'm sorry it's not 69. That would have been a great one, but we'll eventually get there. Glad to see everybody from Art's channel. I'm just getting him patched in, or excuse me, our terrible production team is working behind the scenes to get him patched in here. And we'll be talking to Art pretty darn soon. Get him in. Copy this in. We'll...
And while Crash is doing that, we have a pretty good show today. I know if a lot of you guys have been following my Twitter activity, we'll have some big breaking Call of Duty news. If you see what I did there, big breaking COD news.
Yeah, we will.
Wait, that's pretty good stuff right there. Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. We got some Tarkov stuff to go over. And I think we're going to be doing quick shots, Q&A today, as well as the new Battlefield season. So it should be a good show.
We got lots of stuff to talk about. So introducing now, we're a big time segment show now. So we'll bring Art in now. Check this out. It's amazing. Art, what's up, man? Welcome in. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I think your stuff's working when you talk. Can you talk just a little bit? Make sure I got audio.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Whoa. You sound delicious. All right,
okay,
yeah. So welcome in. Thanks everybody coming over from Art Stream. I was watching that. It was a lot of fun over there. Appreciate you guys making the hop over to YouTube. I think I'm live on Twitch too. We're kind of live all over the place. We got a couple channels. We're on Buff's channels, and everything is combined on the screen chat-wise. So keep an eye on the screen when people are chatting, so you can kind of chat cross-platform, so that's all mixed up so you can see what everybody's saying. Also, we really enjoy people to comment and chat during the show. That's why it's on the VOD, so we can go back, and if somebody watches this later, several people do actually, you'd be surprised, they can see what everybody's saying in chat. So you guys are important. You can be part of the show. Ticker up at the top's got some information wherever you're watching this or listening to it on any of the podcast platforms. Art's social channels, his YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter are all in there wherever you're watching it at. So check that out, please. Give him a follow, because after you talk to him, I think you'll really want to do that. So yeah, I think that's it if you're new here. Also, the production team that works on this show behind the scenes is terrible. It's me. So bear with them as we get everything worked out. But yeah, Art, how have you been, man?
Been good. Been busy. I started working on YouTube in a really meaningful way, and not working in the film industry. So that's always a W.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about that too, to give folks a little bit of background. I originally asked you to be on because of everything going on with the Tarkov LUTs, right?
Yeah.
Because that was crazy. Like BSG stamped that out really quick. But
priorities.
Yeah, you're not just some guy that's messing around with colors. You know a little bit about it. So can you tell people a little bit about your background and some of the projects you've worked on?
Yeah. I've been working in filmmaking since I was 20, which was 12 years ago. I started in weddings and skate videos. I was a longboarder for a long time, and so I was a production team of one. And I taught myself most of the technical stuff because my education was all theory. I know how to talk about movies, and I know how to talk to snobby art people about movies, but that doesn't help you actually make a movie. So I self-taught myself most of that stuff, and doing that got me a spot in the industry. In the camera department, I'm a camera technician. I mostly specialize in gimbals and specialty little camera builds, as well as time lapse. I've pulled focus on a couple weird Lifetime movies. I've shot a short film that we took to Los Angeles and won a festival with. That was awesome. And I've worked on Better Call Saul, El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie, Independence Day Resurgence, Preacher, The Night Shift, if you love medical dramas, a bunch of stuff. And it's a lot of work and a lot of hours. So if I'm going to pour a lot of work and a lot of hours into something, I'd rather be my own endeavor. So here we are.
Right. Yeah, my film background is a lot shittier, but similar. I worked for a production house, kind of similar to what our mutual friend Walt does, in Wyoming. The extent of my film training is I went to a master class in Denver with Vincent LaFerre. That was really cool. To learn film theory and stuff from that director. And then, but yeah, I was always doing others freelance work, making videos for companies and stuff for their social media. And it's man, And the pandemic hit, and it's like I want to make stuff for myself. So I get that. It's like really satisfying to make stuff for yourself. His YouTube channel is up on the screen for everybody to check out too. So please go follow it, because some of the stuff that he's working on is awesome, and it's been really cool to watch your growth too. Because knowing Beast Mode Boone and seeing you like when you kind of got started, I feel like, and just seeing how it's blowing out, it's so awesome. I love seeing good people succeed, man. It's super awesome.
Thanks.
So congrats on the growth. Now, so I'm just going to get right into it. What's going on with Tarkov? I'm sure it'll branch off wherever, because the Tarkov like Twitter is a dumpster fire, like with everything, especially with that cheater video. We're going to talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. The lighting and especially maps like Interchange has been like a problem in Tarkov forever, for the several years that it's been in beta. Everybody's complaining about the lighting, about visibility. What prompted you to decide to try to fix it, and how did you arrive at that solution?
Well, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I've known it was bad. I knew the lighting was bad. Like, I have friends that play it. I don't play it. And so, like, for Call of Duty, the filters were purely aesthetic. Like, this iteration of Call of Duty does not actually have a lot of visibility issues. Like, you could argue that the lack of saturation makes it really hard to identify targets, because everything's just like early 2000s war film colors. But Tarkov, in a lot of ways, almost seems like it was purposely made bad, which, like, ontologically feels pretty Russian to me. But I don't know. I mean, I also have some like info about like who does the color there, and like why it was so swiftly swatted down. So
that would, probably can't talk about that then, but
I don't care. I mean, it's somebody
Gotcha.
way high up there that got their panties in a twist, because frankly they're terrible at color grading.
Because you fix the game in a little bit, yeah.
Escape from Tarkov is based on, or it's built on, the Unity engine. And if you look at anything Unity based, you can look at the documentation. All the post effects stuff that is in Tarkov is a reskin tool that's part of the Unity engine. User selectable LUTs are part of the Unity engine. It's just that the ones that are made for you are terrible.
And you're talking about in the settings in Tarkov, the post effects.
Yeah, so when you can access post effects at the bottom, you drop down. The only one that I know of is like there's chill wave is one of the options, and like that's what a lot of people seem to like, because the game is so green yellow. The opposite on the color wheel is blue purple, so it sucks the Saving Private Ryan drab out of the view, and also pumps some color back in, which human eye is subjective. So if you see a bright red thing move, you're more likely to notice that it as like a threat than just some olive drab thing in front of more olive drab things being olive drab things.
Yeah. And that's what I noticed, and I was excited. I didn't even get to get them installed until it got taken down so fast. It's
crazy. 3 days.
Yeah, it was 3 days, which is wild. But I was mostly excited about Interchange, and I'm sure you're familiar with the lighting on that too, because in my opinion, that map is like almost like one of the coolest fucking maps on any game.
Yeah.
It's so cool, but you can't see shit, and there's weird fog in there. And like the lighting itself doesn't make sense. Like there will be light sources, but the corners will still be like pitch black and you can't see through them. There's fog in the distance, but not near you. So you think you're hidden in the dark, but sometimes the fog outlines you and stuff like that. So how long did it take you, and kind of what was your workflow? So did you like take some stills and stuff and take that into like a Resolve or something, or like how did you?
Yeah, I initially got screenshots from just a buddy that kind of plays Tarkov, like not even seriously plays Tarkov, and just like brought the PNG screenshot into Resolve and tried to crank it as much as possible. And what's really interesting when you grade movie footage is you usually if you're lucky, you have raw footage. If you're not lucky, you have like 8-bit or 10-bit, and that just refers to the color depth. And the lower the color depth, so the lower that number, the more likely, like if you've ever tried to edit a JPEG and you've taken the contrast too far, and it goes into like one of those meme style laser chopped and screwed, like posterized, you can see the pixels. That's usually what happens when you juice the picture like that unless you have a really good camera. Like, you know, typically I've graded this, and this is awesome. I can show it. So this is my camera naturally. So usually a nice camera has this kind of color bandwidth to deal with. When you're talking about video games, everything's being drawn at that time. So when you apply the LUT filter over it, you can, like, while I'm seeing banding and distortion in the colors, when you apply that to the game, if it's not a recording, it's not going to be there because there's no compression. It's the drawn pixels to you. So you can go nuclear. You know, I mean, I pulled up things that people didn't even know were in the map. Like, there's a store in Interchange that's like super dark. It's like there's that X. I don't play the game, but there's that X of lights. And then, like, if you're looking at it from one side, there's this pitch black store with nothing in, like, nothing in there. I gave it to a friend. He's like, holy, there's loot in here.
Yeah.
You know? And it just seems like there's two, like, when a community offers a solution, there's two ways to react to it. You can integrate and adapt, or you can do what they did, which just, you know, kind of feels like that.
Yeah, exactly. That was what felt so weird about it. And then I know a few other content creators were like picked it up, or like, how did that work? Because you originally
so initially the pictures, and then I worked with some content creators, and not to name any names, but one of them was quite cretin-y, and like my work slipped away to somebody that is quite like well vested in the scene and has connections, and that person redistributed it in their chat with no credit. And so, like, the whole thing, my whole experience with Tarkov was just
yeah, I hate that
just
shit, man.
weird, man. Like, and I take for granted in Call of Duty, for the most part, everybody understands like the basic rules of engagement of making content, which is, hey, if you want to make something about the thing that I made, you let me know, blah blah blah. But all this was like and I mean, I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. Now,
sure.
on the other side, there are very. I worked with Trey 24K. He was great.
Ooh, nice.
He was fantastic. What a consummate professional. Just nothing but good things. He was jazzed on it. I think he was even more jazzed on it when they were talking about maybe banning it. And that's my kind of person.
We did something. We got him.
Yeah, totally.
Attention.
And I don't think I would have seen the kind of success across multiple things if I didn't stir the pot that hard. And I'm just going to keep stirring the pot and calling it as I sees it, because there's plenty of content creators that are just like, oh no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And just kind of take it. I'm like, that's milk toast as hell, dude. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how especially Battle State's been. You have to absolutely smash it in their face. It has to cause an absolute shitstorm before they'll even pay attention to it or do anything. And it takes people like you that aren't afraid to stir the pot to get people to even pay attention or do anything. And we talked about it a little bit that week, like after that week on here, how shitty it was that they just completely banned it. And I feel like in a perfect world they would have said, oh yeah, wow, we have a problem. Maybe they should talk to you about some of your settings and how they got to maybe. I mean, yeah. I'm just spitballing here. Like I'm just pulling this out of the air.
I mean, you would think, and also like, but that tells you a lot about, and also like the discussion around the game has kind of devolved since that time. I'm not trying to put myself at the center of it, but like that happened, and now it's RMT bans, and now it's like cheater videos, and now it's this, and now it's that, and like, you know, from the outside, sure is weird that some dude slowly bans cheaters that use the in-game economy to make actual money to buy another account that just so happens to cost $150, and they also offer them in Moss.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't much go for Herbalife when I was like in my 20s, but I guess some people just gotta pump and dump. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the way. I mean, it's not a pyramid scheme, but
but I mean, okay, so I did have a friend like call me out and be like, "That's tinfoil hattie," and like I realize it, but it's also just like one of those things that like is so convenient to just look away from.
Right.
And like, my dad always used to say, "You can't bullshit a bullshitter."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
My dad
like
does it.
that, you know, as somebody who's a recovering addict and used to lie to their loved ones for drugs, you just can't. I'm gonna know. Like, I'm ready to be a dad. I'm gonna know. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go over my head.
Right. And I mean, even though it is like tinfoil hatty, why can't you at least point it out? Like that, you could still like
Yeah,
have
and
that
I've mentioned it to
discussion
people
about
like One Peg, and he's been like, "No, you're not the only one that thinks that." And so if I get
can't
that
be.
kind of little, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure BSG's in the Discord, or was at one point, fishing it out. Because I mean, my Discord went from 500 to 10K people.
Oh wow.
That's
in
sweet.
3
No,
days.
it's been so
That's
been
awesome.
so awesome because
It's crazy.
I played,
now that EFT banned it, it's at 5.8K or something. It's really funny.
Oh really?
And that's
wow.
how popular it was with EFT.
That's crazy.
Jeez. Yeah, it was game changing. And then I feel like you had some content creators that fumbled it to kind of just push the workout without credibility. I hate that. And even as someone, so like I started my channel covering 2042 in the lead up to that, then people would have leaks and have articles and stuff that would come out from like Tom Henderson and stuff. How hard is it to just say, like, Tom Henderson first reported this, check out their channel in the description, show them some support for
Right,
getting us this
right.
information. Wow, that took 10 seconds and I'm not a piece of shit. Like, I don't get why that's so hard. And also the other thing, I guess I shouldn't be on a tangent when we have a guest on here, but it's like, I don't get the competitiveness on YouTube. There's billions of people on there, man. There's plenty of views like for everybody.
One of the most important metrics that drives channel growth is when channels reference each other.
Right.
When one channel pushes a link for another, and it's a two-way street. It's not just big channel references little channel. It's the fact that there's crossover, right? And it drives you into the algorithm. And that's an everyone can eat model. It is built as an everyone can eat model. And the only people, you see it in the Call of Duty scene all the time, all these like wager kids that just want to like wager, but where's the content? Like,
Right.
how is this sustainable? Like, when you get as old as I am and you don't have the reaction speed, like, what are you gonna do?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
There was a lot of just short-sighted weirdness, like, amongst a lot of the people. And yeah, just like nefarious. It's just so strange. But
I
it
don't get
also,
it.
like, am I not surprised? Because, I mean, it's a game that's plagued by all of those issues. You know what I mean? Like, they're like live in torture zone.
It's frustrating too, because I mean, we talk about Tarkov here a lot on this channel, and I played. I know Crash plays it. At least he used to play it a lot, and plays it here and there. And I played it like heavily 2020, 2021, end of 2019. And that was always my biggest complaint, was I can't see anything. Like when you're on interchange or when you're in certain sections on customs and other maps, it's just so dark that you can't see anything. And and then you get one tapped by somebody or a scav and you can't even see it. It's really frustrating. Like you said, when you put on the LUTs that you're talking about, we were looking at some screenshot comparisons, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was night and day, because I remember using some of the NVIDIA filters back when I was playing just to be able to see what the heck was going on. And if you watch Tarkov streams, like when players are on interchange or other maps, and when it's dark like that, if you're watching that stream, it's even darker for you watching the stream versus the stream that's playing. You can't see anything when you're watching those streams and anyone's playing interchange. So it's definitely a problem. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed they did that, but not surprised, because we were looking at those screenshots and you could actually see on interchange. It is a huge game changer.
Yeah,
And it's just such.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's just such a weird cultural thing for that. Like, if I had done a little bit, if I didn't think it was such a hot, like if the first leaked tweet of like what I was doing didn't pop as hard, I would have taken more time and probably seen the TOS and been like, But it's just so weird, how we can never be wrong. The TOS is for Tarkov.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no third party, anything that, like, dude, what if you're hard of hearing and you need to use a sound equalizer?
Well, I know we touched on that cheater video, which I watched also. I mean, so let's be honest, like there's a lot of third party stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
That I mean, they're picking and choosing what they want to get rid of and not get
Exactly.
rid of.
And
Which
then-
is really messed up.
Money.
Yeah, exactly.
Homie made 3.3 million euro last year as a consultant.
It's wild. And then so
Yeah,
you
that's
talk
wild.
about like how BSG handled it really weird, but they literally put, what I don't get is also they literally put that post effects panel in there like several wipes ago so people could change the color. Like if you want people on the same playing field, like if it's an advantage thing, then why did you put that in? Because people can literally have different color grades anyway. People are playing on different monitors. It's going to look different anyway. The other side of it is, so switching to like the third reaction, like the community's reaction was really weird to it too, because a lot of people likened it to cheating. Like you're pretty much cheating. You want an unfair advantage. For my opinion, I'm like, for me anyway, it's like, I don't want an advantage. I want everybody to be able to play the game this way and like be able to see the fucking
I didn't
map
sell
and,
it.
I know.
Tarkov's a PC only game. If
Yeah.
you don't want to use it, you might just be dumb, or like your pride gets in front of your ability to have a good time or something. But
Yeah,
like,
I personally
mean-
like to be able to see when I'm playing a game.
so what I understand is Nikita's the one that does the color grading, and if anybody don't think their shit stinks, it's him.
That's super unfortunate.
I get that vibe.
I want to see what happens like a year down the road or anything like that, and see if they come out with their own version of this, and like, oh, look what we did. And it, I'm curious if it gets that messed up with this situation, because that's obviously something that made the game way better. And especially if they got rid of it that quick, and everything else they've been cracking down on, which is just like you said, it's like the short-sightedness of BSG, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
That would be hilarious and something that I could see happening.
Yeah.
So and Nikita's always big. So I've listened to a few of his podcasts and stuff, and he's always like really big on his vision, right? The game is going to follow his vision, and he gets really short-sighted. And sometimes I feel like at BSG they get like tunnel vision, and they don't think about how it affects other aspects of the game. And it's like, this is one of those things where I feel like they want it to be dark, they want it to be gritty, they want it to feel shitty, like you're in like post-apocalyptic Russia. Like I can't think of really a shittier place to be. So they want it to look like that, but you're going too far. I feel like okay, cool, it looks dark and stuff, but then it's not fun. And at the end of the day, it's a game. So no, I was just super impressed with what you were able to do. A lot of people were. One of my favorite podcasts, they talked about you on there with Veritas and Jesse Kazam. That was pretty cool. I was like, I was that Leonardo DiCaprio meme, because I love their podcast. I was like,
Wait, I've not seen that. You should send that to me.
yeah, I'll try to find the clip. It was last week's episode. They talked about you and your.
I'll find it.
But yeah,
That's awesome.
No, it was really cool. I really like those guys. I listen to their podcast every week. And no, it was cool. They were talking about you on there, and the LUTs and stuff. So as far as that goes, I think that pretty much covers how it went. I just thought the
My
reaction
favorite thing was Smith Doggy. Is that Smithy? Is that a Tarkov
I've heard
streamer?
of Smithy, yeah.
Yeah, Smithy. Smith Dog is a Warzone guy. He changed his name in game to DWM LUT after
I saw that on your
after
Twitter.
they did it. That was my favorite.
That was pretty sweet. I guess to put a bow on this, how are they able to find that and not let the game launch with that on your computer? That seems really wild.
It's a BSG is like not BSG. BattleEye is kind of like a old anti-cheat in the way that they can have a blocked application list. That's like all that they want. And so that's why it was so exacting. Like unless somebody, like, they surgically targeted it because it injects a DLL into Windows, which puts a pixel shader on your GPU output, right? So if it was one step removed, so if I was if I were a Tarkov player, I would play through my OBS preview and still use the goddamn LUTs. Because they can't. I mean, it's a feeble attempt. There's plenty of ways to twist this. Like, I have black equalizer on my monitor. I can get halfway there. What's the difference? It's just like, it's such an illogical thing that it comes from a place of ego. Like,
It
you know what I
has
mean?
to.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
doesn't
like there's
make
no
sense
there's
any
no
other way.
pragmatic or logical reason for it to get bopped as quickly as it did outside of somebody's feelings were hurt.
Especially, you would think, like, hey, they would reach out to you. Hey, this looks awesome. Like, tell us
what
what
I
you're
would
thinking. We
wish.
want to implement. We want to implement it in like the right way. We want to, work with you to refine it. Blah blah blah. Instead of just like no acknowledgement and instant takedown.
Yeah, I mean it was instant too.
Yeah, it was what was it? 3 days? 2 days?
3 days. I
3
released
days.
it on Friday, and it was dead by Monday.
Yeah, that's
So then-
wild.
But I'm stupid, and I'm guessing there's a reason for this. Maybe I hope there's a reason for this. Why can't they do that with the cheat software that guy used on this video? He said it's been around for 2 years. Like
So cheaters
I'm
are
guessing
very
it's-
so they obfuscating things, and
they
like
spoof all this stuff, right? Like
yeah,
can't
there's ways
find it.
around it. Yeah, I don't have enough actual knowledge of that to like speak to it much.
same.
But I can't help but feel well, and also I will say I have turned my eye to many comments in the Discord about people engineering a obfuscated version of the application that like always changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they, yeah, if you really want to do it, you could probably still do it.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely for sure.
And I know some people still. I mean, I pulled the filters entirely. I don't. Like the links are gone. Like I'm sure people are handing them around to each other to use on streams and stuff. But based on the illogical approach that BSG had to dealing with it, I just decided to. Like the last thing I want is some non-logical Russian with ill will against me. That
Yeah.
seems like the plot of an 80 movie I don't want to be a part of.
Right. Yep. No, we're good. We're good. Everything's good. Sorry.
good.
Sorry, Nikita. Sorry.
I'm not sorry. You can shove it. You're bad at color grading. Stick
Fix
to, well, I don't know. You might be bad the rest of it based on what I see on Twitter.
Fix the game. But anyways, where's the Always Sunny coming from?
That was me.
I loved it.
That was right there at the right time. It was beautiful.
Man, my soundboard's so lame compared to that. Anyway, yeah. So I think that covers the Tarkov. Now moving into what you're working on now, with the Warzone audio. This stuff is really cool too. And this is such a really cool niche you found yourself in content creation. Just maximizing people's hardware, their games for like the best experience. I feel like if I was giving somebody the Art is War elevator pitch, that's like what I would say. You're just maximizing people's hardware to get the most out of it, the best experience you can have playing the game. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I
Kinda where
kind
you're
of
at.
stumbled into it. I've kind of always done that. I've been like a max minner. That's why I found Tony's website, True Game Data, like super early on, because like it's my thing. I can find out, oh, like how can I get this? How can I get that? So the filters, and then like it was audio, and it was actually Loud as EQ was really broken in season 1 because, and not a lot of people understand this, or because the game was broken. The game was like when you play a game, there's, let's just say 16 audio tracks in the game engine. Wind, trees, cars, plates, guns, looting, birds, water, etc., etc. It was not getting mixed down appropriately. And so when you turn loudness equalization on, which is just a compressor, which makes quiet sounds louder and loud sounds quieter, and then lifts it all up at the same rate so it kind of becomes a uniform sound. You would apply loudness equalization, just a compressor, and it would only compress a section of those sounds because Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 was rushed out for the profits of the suits for Q4, and those poor engineers probably just didn't have time to put the brackets in at the end. And so audio was just kind of like the flying spaghetti monster. And loudness EQ just happened to be so good. And I wrote it off because I was like, this is a compressor. This is like a compressor from 2005 Windows XP. I'm good. Like, I don't think this is going to be good. And it was. And so, I mean, I didn't make a special video. Plenty of people had been saying loudness EQ is good. I think my strong suit is being able to explain things to people in a way that's digestible. So that, I think, made that pop. That, and also a lot of help from Repulse, who gassed the hell out of it.
That's awesome.
And then season 2 came around, and they added the speaker output option, which is either stereo or Windows default. And so again, I think of just how private corporations work. You have good, fast, cheap, and I know the two they chose. So basically you're stuck now with, before we were able to kind of model the sound into something that was at least competitive. Now you just get a really bad stereo mix, no matter what you do. Just a terrible stereo mix, crowded, like no matter how big your headphones, no matter how big the soundstage, that stuff is so crowded and like hectic. And I know it's immersive, but it's like streak, cluster across the map, chest. Oh my God, you picked up something cool. Like, I don't need to hear that, man. Like, I'm
100%.
trying to listen for the Timmy, dude. And so I got cooking, and one of the people that's really picky about their audio in game is Sage, who plays for Omit. Absolutely cracked guy. Really cool guy as well. He was like, I turned on virtual surround sound in where loudness EQ is. So I have them both on and I kind of like it. And so I went ding. So the basic overarching method for what I'm going to put out is, and if you're watching, don't take it. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Forcing surround sound. I'm forcing 7.1 at the Windows level, and then using tools to map that back down to stereo. And some of those tools give you control over your front channel, your side channels, your back channel. In addition to that, because it's based in a very certain piece of software that people use to equalize their stuff all the time, I can also compress it, which is what loudness EQ was. But I can compress it how I want, not just a checkbox within an option that's short and long. I have a lot of control. And then I can also cut out all that boomy bass that really kind of screws with you. Now, there's some footsteps in there, so I didn't cut it all out. But and the thing is it's not like loudness EQ in season 1 was crazy. You turned it on, you were like, oh, this is great. It's not going to quite be that, but it's going to be less ear slapping and way more directional.
Nice.
Just the act, none of the extra stuff, just the act of forcing 7.1 out of the game changes how the game sounds.
That's crazy because directional audio, even in Warzone 1, was always a problem. So it's
now vertical's still tough. Vertical's still tough.
Yeah.
I think they've broken things, but based upon some of the more knowledgeable than me audio, like I'm not an audio guy really. I'm a systems guy. Like I'm a signal flow guy. I know enough about the basics to understand what's wrong and what's right. But like Lou is the audio guy, 100%. But I've learned a lot from him, and what my focus was on this was breaking the system that is the Call of Duty audio, just like it was in season 1. And I think I got pretty close.
Did you do any like comparison with the audio from Warzone versus DMZ? Because I primarily migrated into DMZ after like mid-December, and I haven't really played any Warzone since. And as far as audio goes, directional audio and like verticality audio, all of that, I mean, it doesn't seem nearly as bad as everything I had experienced in Warzone 1 and 2, the first half of me playing it. So have you looked at that at all? Or has your focus primarily been on just the Warzone audio?
It's primarily been on Warzone audio, but my assumption would be that the maps share the same occlusion.
Yeah. Maybe just because there's less players or something. It feels like there's probably something different with the audio there. Because or
that's interesting.
It could be because I play on PlayStation. Maybe things are just happen to be tuned differently there. But I mean, DMZ, you have much less players, more AI. So maybe because you're not running into players all the time and there's not as much player fights going on around the map, maybe that has an impact on the way the audio is performed.
I wonder if audio, it's an interesting question. I wonder if the audio during season 1 was what it is for us now on PC for console the whole time. Because I don't know if the same issue that was present in Warzone Season 1 or Warzone 2 Season 1 audio was I never tested that. But if it did change, then it probably wasn't. I mean, it's just a bad mix right now. Like home theater is the best you can get, but that makes things too loud and too quiet.
Yep.
And then PC is just like ear raking and it's terrible. And but it's so compressed, you know, and then like you do something loud and you lose the quiet sounds.
It's really touchy because, like, as somebody who also I play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege from time to time too. Audio is like super important in that game. Is there any truth? I feel like anytime you mess with any of those built-in EQs, like if you turn like 7.1 on, like if you had Logitech G Hub or if you have Astros or something that have that in Siege at least, it messes it up really bad. And I feel like vanilla stereo is like almost always the way to go in those games. And is that kind of why like you're enabling those channels and then bringing it back to stereo? Like,
yeah, I'm trying to do it absolutely at the Windows level because when the game launches, that's what it's using. It's not like anything that you use, and it's actually a point that I'm trying to get across in the video. Is I mean, one of the most popular comments on any of my sound videos, like, what about Astros? What about Astros? What about Astros? And it's just, I mean, I get frustrated because it's like dumb consumerism, you know, like you get a box and it says it does the trick and you're like, oh yeah, it's so good. And then there's whole communities that are like, nah, I got that gas Astros settings. And everybody's talking about headphones that are overpriced Turtle Beaches. You know what I mean? Like, half the comp scene is using IEMs now because it's clearer. Yeah, you know, it's.
I never bought Astros for that reason because like the lowest end models like $180 or something. It's just
crazy.
It got
so
me.
You could get gas IEMs and a really nice USB mic, both of which are usable on PlayStation, by the way, for less than that.
Yeah.
And it's just people like to grab the shiny box that says it'll do the thing with no effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it got me too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm an idiot because I bought the Logitech G Pro and it had the surround sound, and it's like I'm playing first person shooters, so I want surround sound. Like you think that you want to be able to hear that way, but a lot of those games, especially older games like Siege, are not coded in mixed and surround sound.
Overpriced BS gamer headphones. Sound great.
I got some back
Sound great. Music's great. You know how hard I gotta listen to hear somebody? So hard. They're planar magnetics. They're great. These are Aiden's headphones. They're awesome. They're $900 new. I got them used for like $400.
God.
But dude, I have 20. These earbuds I'm wearing right now are ringing. Like I dropped them because I'm a klutz. But I would rather wear my $20 earbuds that are my backups for competitive play than these.
Yeah,
I paid $60 for some HyperXs.
Exactly. That's the brand to get. HyperX, SteelSeries. That's money well spent. Astros, anything that can be sold at a big box store, it's not made for people like ourselves that are trying to at least max min a little bit. You know,
I love these earbuds.
Oh, they're so good.
They are, I guess they're technically IEMs or whatever. I watched a bunch of videos and kind of reviewed and kind of checked. These are Linsol ZS10s. These changed it, man. Like game changers. I'm always like spectating my friends in Siege because I die. Weird, yeah. And I'm like, there's somebody to your left. You don't hear that? Like, no, I don't hear that. It's like, dude, like that happens so much now. Like you can't hear that. It's so loud.
Pinnacle did a great video on it, saying, you know, the best gamer headphones are whatever you want. There is no best gamer headphone, and it's unfortunate that there's just like people that use like the Amazon affiliate program on Twitter to recommend way overpriced audiophile gear that has no business being used in any kind of first-person shooter competitive setting whatsoever, just so they can get a cut of their Amazon associates program. Like that's pretty nefarious.
$40.
Yeah, these $50, dude. $20. $20, and they have a version that comes with a mic built in. So if you're on console, you can use it.
Yep.
Like Moondrop Chew. Who cares?
It's great.
Yeah.
And
that's what most comp players do. They'll put in Apple earbuds and then 3M noise isolators or like walkers and play, right?
Yeah,
so they don't get bugged.
I wondered that for a long time because I just watched the Rainbow Six International the big world championships, and they always have
Yeah.
their IEMs, and then they put those big. I think it's to isolate like the crowd, the announcers. I think.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
the 3M noise isolators. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of them use shooting muffs because they want to hear people close to them. But yeah, I mean, that's what everybody does. Halo, COD for the most part, you know.
Yep. Edward, IEM stands for in-ear monitor. So they're originally used like when you think monitors, that's like what people use to like actual mix audio. And they were traditionally like big speakers you kind of have by you, like where you're trying to mix audio in like a studio or whatever. But they make them that go in ear, but they're monitors for like you kind of get like straight. It is what it is sound. There's not a lot of stuff to it. Like,
and you can pick what's. I mean, so Lou, my audio friend, would argue about the IEM thing. In-ear monitors are made for stage performance to use to monitor the mix. It's not the right sound. Blah blah blah. Now, as far as consumerism goes, it's like the antithesis to the Astros thing. You're able to, if you search IEM and you look at the price range, you know that this was designed for like somebody that cares about the sound and not the features. And so your $20 is going to go not towards active noise canceling or a button that lets you change the song or a charging case or any of that. It's just an earbud with a cheap cable and some cheap tips.
Yeah.
And you can replace those later. But the core, the engine block is really good. And you can search based on sound profile. You know, you can, I like a bassy, like these zeros are super bassy. The KZs are a little bit more neutral. The chews are really bright. You have options. If people don't know, Critical.com, it has a ranking list of all the IEMs, and he ranks them by value, actually. So you can kind of find one in different price ranges.
I just realized that my Wavelength software deleted all the EQ I had on my mic, so I just had to put a noise gate in because of my cigar air purifiers going, and I saw it on the. That's great. So my mic probably sounds like ass. That's fun. But I do have a compressor, so all my stuff runs through Wavelength. So I do have just kind of a standard compressor on my game audio, so I can turn it up and it takes down like the airplane and stuff in Warzone, and it takes down gunshots in Siege and stuff like. But it's just a pretty plain compressor, and then I just kind of bump up the game volume a little bit, and it helps a lot. But it's still a little weird. Like, yeah, I'm really excited to see your video because it's still a little weird. With the attacks and releases, like sometimes you get like a little bump when the gunshot starts, and then it's a little, you can hear some weird stuff.
Yeah, you can hear the delay.
Yeah, so I'm ready to see your video. So
it's gonna be. I'm a little nervous. It's a very complex setup thing. Like it's like yeah. So I'm gonna offer like I don't want to sell anything that I do. I'm trying to build like a channel and a community, and there's plenty of ways that I indirectly monetize things that I do. I don't need to sell services to make it work. But on release of the video, that is something I'm going to do, is offer people to get a slot with me if they're just lost in the sauce with setting it up. Because, I mean, Lou, I wasn't sure because I've just been staring at this for the last 2 weeks. I asked Lou, I was like, how difficult is this on a scale of 1 to 10? He said a 9. So that's coming from an audio engineer.
So I could just see my boomer ass sitting here watching this thing like, okay, go where now? But
that's on me though. Like I think that's on me to describe it right. You know, like all the right disclaimers. Yeah. That's on me.
But no, I think it's going to be worth it. And I just would encourage anyone listening, you know, either live or after the fact, to check out our channel. If you guys are serious at all about like content creation, streaming, and also just wanting to be competitive in games and get the most out of your hardware. Because I mean, like you heard the man, he's going to do it in Windows. If you play on PC, you have Windows. So, I mean, you have the stuff to do it, to get it better. I'm sure it's
all
probably
free
help
apps.
out of what you have. So
they're all free applications. One's donationware. If you feel you want to donate to the person, you can.
That's great.
Cool. And just real quick, Chris's question in over on Twitch chat. Yeah, man, my opinion, like opinions are like assholes. You know, that whole thing. Everybody's got them.
Yeah,
I am so much more happy with my IEMs that would cost me $40. I got like a $20 braided cable and some foam tips. I got the foam tips you roll up and stick in. So I probably spent $60 total, and I'm so much more happier with my Fantasy Shroud Edition Logitech G Pro X surround sound bullshit that I had. I like this so much better. But that's just me.
Yeah, there's I mean, like the PC38X is a good shout. For a cheap headset. It's not great. But I mean, it's not bad. It's way better than an Astro, and it's going to be about the same price as an Astro. But IEMs are just less material, less driver. The only disconcerting thing about IEMs are that sometimes people don't like the earplug aspect of it, either the feel or the nature of hearing your own voice. But I monitor my voice, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that would be my disclaimer. Is when I first got mine and they came with the standard like rubbery, I was scared. I was like, man, I love how these sound, but they hurt. They feel like shit. They slide out. And then I got the memory foam ones, or they're like a foam earplug if you've ever been at the range, or you got some for a concert or whatever, and you roll them up and stick them in, then they expand and seal, and your body heat kind of keeps them pliable. And then you were talking about ones that were like kind of different that I'm really interested in too, because these don't last very long.
Here. Boop. Wait, I can't do that here. It's you can kind of see it. They're called Zelastec, XELASTEC, and they look like silicone, but they're like a memory foam membrane material. So as you wear them, they mold to your ear.
Oh, nice.
So they're like halfway between like a foam tip and a silicone tip. And the problem with like especially the Zeros or any IAM with like a big nozzle is if you have smaller ears, it can hurt. Like Isaac messaged me the other day. He's like, dude, these are killing my ears. Do you have any other recommendations? I have like a scar, and what it is like on the ear tips, they actually have a silicone bushing on the inside before the material is applied. And that silicone bushing is just very right angled.
Is this what you're talking about? I just pulled them up on. Okay. Cool.
So they have three different sets of sizes. You get medium, medium, large, and large, medium, small, medium, and medium large, or super small, small, and medium small. So what I suggest most people get first is you buy a set, figure out what tips fit, and then buy that as your center, right? So if you're a medium, get the medium, small, medium, large pack. If you're a small, get the super small, medium, small, and if you're a large, get the medium, large pack. I know it's $28. It's crazy, but they're so worth it. I don't even notice I'm wearing them.
Do they last longer than the foam ones?
You got it. Yeah, but you got to be delicate with them if you ever take them off. I've ripped one once.
Okay. Because my foam ones, I get a 3-pack of them, and I probably go through about a tip a month because the foam separates from the plastic collar on them.
Oh yeah.
From putting them
yeah.
in
So
and
this
out.
is all one continuous piece, much more like a silicone thing. The issue with silicone is it just makes my ear itch for some reason. I don't know why.
Dude, I hated the ones that came with it because I was like, these sound amazing, but they hurt and they slid out, and I kept having to push them in.
Yeah. So these are very foam-like. These stick in, and they kind of don't come out. They're really nice.
Sweet. I'm gonna check those out. But yeah, I don't know.
Like I take these out. They're kind of. At first I was like, oh man, I'm screwing these up because of where I'm hanging them. But then I realized it's actually just taking the form of my ear canal. So it's kind of like ovular.
There you go.
It's really nice. They're well worth. You can get them in single packs too, and they actually make them for AirPods and stuff too.
Oh wow,
that's awesome. I'm gonna try those next. After I have a
super
3-pack.
comfortable.
I got one pair left that'll wear out in a month or two, and then I'll try them because yeah, it's worth it. But so when are you expected to drop that video on the
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I'm giving away a free session of optimization of doing it. So I'll set it up for one person.
I heard you say on your Twitch stream, right? You can sign up for that in your chat, even offline chat, so people could go over to your channel and sign up.
Exclamation point ear holes.
That's easy to remember. So yeah, if you go over to Art's Twitch chat, art_is_war on Twitch, you can even enter the exclamation point ear holes. And is it ear hole singular or two? Because people have two, right? So it's
ear holes.
Plural.
Yeah, plural.
Because we have two,
one word.
so that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, just type that in, and you might get a free session with Art. And then stay tuned. Yeah, like I said, guys, if you're serious about competitive audio or getting the most out of your stuff, follow along with him. And he also does. I know you helped Walt and Boone get their stuff set up. So he does a really good job. If you want to get into and step up to a two PC system, and there's cords everywhere, and you're not sure how to get audio over to where you need to get it and stuff, you can get a session with Art, and it gets you lined out. So it's awesome. I'm so glad to have him on. What are you thinking about future wise for you? Are you just gonna continue to try to break things and find solutions to problems that everybody has? And Like, you
Yeah,
got your
I mean, I
pockets
think the
going?
way I've cornered my content is that I try to do a really good video instead of like focusing on or like a useful video. You know, like most of what I make, if I'm passionate about it, it's gonna be well made, but it has to be relevant and like I have to care about it. So I just, I don't know. I guess the next thing will be settings for this game. Like how I built my PC, like why it is what it is. Cause like, I mean, you could build my gaming system that gets close to like 4090 or 4080 frames for less than 2K, like way less than 2K.
That's awesome.
But I don't know. I don't know. It has like this one was definitely ding this idea. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for the ding.
I just love.
Might be cloning versus projection for dual PC streamers.
Gotcha. And I just love following art on Twitter even because like I remember when that window in your background, like that thing's cool, like how you have it set up for notifications and stuff. I don't know if it works on here, but like so on his stream for our podcast listener, you can't see it. I'm so sorry. Don't swerve off the road. But he does have like a window screen in the background, and it has when people sub and stuff to his channel, it pops up in the background in the window. So it's like
That's cool.
he does all kinds of really cool shit. So it's fun to see what Art's up to, and fun to hang out and stream too. So to wrap this all up, where are you at gaming? I'm interested to hear this because you're kind of like, are there any games that you're enjoying or looking forward to? Or
I mean, Warzone is what still got me hooked. I mean, I'm looking forward to the finals, but I'm used to disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. I was hopeful for Off the Grid, which was like Neil Blomkamp's, who did like District 9 and Elysium. It's his like battle royale that he's doing, but then I found out it's crypto backed, so bummer.
Oh no.
And then I found out recently the Docs game's like not really crypto backed, or it might be. So I'm hopeful. I mean, maybe that's great. Maybe 12 a.m. is great, but I don't know. It's just sad because the meta that seeped into the film industry, which is like manufacturing line of like mediocre content, seems to have spilled over to the meta of the game industry, which is because people just don't have like, I don't know, they'll just accept like BS, you know?
Yeah, I built my channel covered 2042. So how do you think I felt when that released? Like,
Yeah.
this podcast to talk about FPS games, like I try to do it like a live show that's a little bit different than just like a standard podcast with visuals and everything. Like that was born because I'm like, I can't play this game. I need to make videos, so I enjoy making videos. So like I started this weekly show, but it's like, yeah, it's so I even put it in the ticker above. Breaking news: Art says that games get rushed out for money. So it's breaking news. You heard it here first. But it's such a plague, and I'm almost resigned to that's what we're gonna expect now in the AAA space, because you have like with season 2 in this COD, I got really into playing Search and Destroy when Modern Warfare 2 came out. I respawn modes. I'm like you, man. It's so mindless. I can't do it. But if I'm playing Search with some friends with good comms, good vibes, it's competitive and fun. The round-based stuff I really enjoy as a Siege player too. And then when they release the season 2 content, and it's like no really new maps. You're getting Dome for like the 3rd game in a row. That's already at the top of Al Mazrah, and you're getting the map from the beta, and they're calling it new. It's like, and then with Battlefield, 1 map a season, and then they get a whole new battle pass with a bunch of stuff in the store. It's just like, it's not about maps anymore. It's just about the bundles and the stuff in the store. And Buff even brought this. Yeah, Buff brought it to our attention because you have people complaining about how much more expensive the premium pass used to be, or the season pass or whatever. It's like, but dude, when their skins are costing like $24, you buy 1 skin in the store and it's already more than the premium pass costs. So like they're making so much more money with so much less work, and that's what corporations do. I feel like they're just maximizing money, and it sucks.
And they don't really care about us.
Yeah, and
they don't give a shit.
It sucks for like the boomers like me, because like I remember getting all those maps and like, dude, we got a map pack coming out. Like I'm taking a day off work because we get like 4 or 5 new maps and 3 new guns, especially with Battlefield. Like in Battlefield 1, there'd be like 5 maps, and I'm like, they're big Battlefield maps. I can't wait to explore these things. And now it's like you get 1 map, but there's some cool bundles and a battle pass. So just like so much. I mean,
I think they're kind of like so J God brought up a good point on the Pulse Check podcast like last week or 2 weeks ago. A Rebirth, I mean, whatever you think of how the Rebirth map is, that was supposed to come out in season 4. And the fact that they pulled it up this far and it's not totally broken, like, yeah, it had its problems, but it's not like totally broken. Tells you a little bit about what's going on the inside. Like hemorrhaging might be an understatement.
Yeah, you're seeing that. You're seeing that in esports too. Especially, I think esports is seeing like a big downturn, and it's just the same with studios. I feel like just with like person power, like how many people are working on stuff, and it just seems like it's just all focused on that engagement optimized matchmaking stuff, and it's turning
more, better.
It just feel like it's turning games into like an algorithm to get you to spend money than it is like a game that, you know, like I feel like the developers used to love these games and love hearing from players and stuff like that. And I feel like that love's gone. It's at least in the AAA space.
Where's Valve, dude? Valve needs to come back and drop something good.
What are they doing? I think they're probably just chilling, making all the royalties off Steam. I don't.
Oh, 100%. You should watch it. There's a documentary about what it's like to work at Valve, and apparently they have like no hierarchy. Apparently it's like a trip to work there.
That's crazy.
It's like the antithesis to Blizzard.
Well, and then you have like their game from 10 years ago is like still popping off like freaking
TF2,
CS:GO.
CS:GO and TF2.
Yep. Like it keeps hitting new highs all the time. CS:GO does. So it's like still the biggest shooter, and it's like old. I don't get it.
But it does its core mechanics really well, and they dealt with their weird microtransaction issue, and now everyone's happy. You know, it's like then you have the opposite, like PUBG. It's just kind of like a crypto shill and a mobile game.
Yeah, it's just weird to see like the directions it's going, and
all about money.
Yeah. I worry.
We want it for the game. They want it for the money.
I worry that as we get older and there's like less and less of us that remember how it used to be. It's like I feel like the new generations of gamers are like growing and learning that this is just what gaming is, and it's just I feel like I'm shouting into the void. Like I hate where the industry's going, but it doesn't really matter what I think. But
it's also like society is like instantaneous. They want something instantly. So with this, you know, with the live service, oh, there's something new in store, or the battle pass, so you can get it quick. Whereas like the DLC stuff, the premiums, you know, it'd be you'd have to wait a couple months and you'd get this huge drop, and that'd be it. So
I think people are starting to learn though that like they have to. At least I'm seeing like slowly people turn that realization leaf that if things come out at the pace that they expected, they're not going to be good things.
Yeah.
Right.
Why half-ass two things when you can whole-ass one thing? That's what COD 2 feels like.
Mm-hmm.
They half-ass DMZ, they half-ass multiplayer, they half-assed Warzone, and then they all kind of were like, meh. Now, DMZ was the cream of the crop because they were rock hard for their AI, and they obviously poured so much money into it. And I think it probably plays great on DMZ. Where it doesn't is the Battle Royale map. It's absolutely thoughtless, lowest common denominator game development. And it's not the people developing the game. It's the people that drive their Teslas to the office in Austin and Santa Monica every day and tell them how to develop the game.
That's what happened with Battlefield, right?
Yeah,
so like,
it's just gonna
exactly. Because we had Jim Heil on here from EA, who's the EA developer, called in to like help fix it kind of towards the end with the crossplay and stuff. And he kind of made me realize that all the problems I had with the game wasn't the developers. The stuff that was missing, the stuff that like core Battlefield fans were so sad is gone, was decided really early in the process that it wasn't going to be there by the suits, by the EA execs. And like, this is the game you're going to make. I don't care because it's probably going to make us the most money. We're going to try to chase the trends of Apex Legends and Call of Duty. We're not going to make a Battlefield. We got to capitalize on this for the shareholders, and that's just exactly
that worked out really well. They it really paid off.
I mean, I bought this stupid Ultimate Edition, so I can't really talk. They got me.
I mean, they don't even mention it in their earnings call anymore, so that's not bad. It is.
It's like, yeah, it's like if you know, you got to address the root issue, right? And like the root issue is like the best games are made by the companies that don't like. Witcher 3 banged because it was Witcher 3. CD Projekt Red sucked because they were meeting shareholders' expectations, you know, or Cyberpunk,
right.
Initially. And then they rolled back because they're not American. They are like, oh shit, we fucked up. Man, this game sucks. And now it's really good. Like I hear Cyberpunk is a really good experience. And I don't think McDonald's munching suits here in the States that are like lining their pockets and like, you know, giving themselves like moussaka honey masks at the end of the day are like on a roll. They just don't care. They're the same people that don't care about like evicting people. They just don't care.
Yeah,
It just it doesn't affect them or their bottom line, so who cares?
That's why on this channel we always like talk about almost every week about some indie games and stuff, and like we're always rooting for something to break through. Like I thought like Tarkov was kind of going to be that, like an indie game that broke into the mainstream, and then now they're kind of treating it like they realize like that's a bummer. So it's like
Their shit don't stink, bro.
Yeah. It's kind of like then we're kind of rooting for the finals and our creators and stuff from Embark, but then now they got Nexon on top of them, so it's just like it's come on, like something's got to. We're hoping. We're hoping.
Oh, I wish we could go back to 2011. Good days.
Yeah, I didn't really game until 2020, so I stopped in 2009 when I started college, and I started again at COVID. So
it's like
you and Crash.
Yeah,
you and Crash,
I'm pretty
man.
late to it too. Yeah.
God.
I didn't start gaming like hardcore until I was like 29 or 20, like later. Like
yeah.
But anyway, man,
yeah, I promise it used to be good. Trust me.
we'll take Buff's
Okay, so Chaos Theory multiplayer back in the day, that shit banged, dude. That was so ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
I think what got me hooked in college, like later on in college, was Left 4 Dead 2. Like just playing that for forever, and then like the little bit of multiplayer, and then some mods and stuff. Like that hooked me. That was crazy.
I mean, again, Valve, dude.
Valve, yeah.
Killing
just quality basic stuff.
They do.
They made the game to play well. They didn't make it to sell microtransactions.
It is funny though. Battlefield is more Call of Duty now than Call of Duty.
Tell me about it.
You're not wrong.
That shit looks fast and fun. I'm over here playing 75-inch Plasma Dad Bush Light Gamer. It's awful. But it's getting better.
It is. It is. I played it for the first time as Season 4's coming out with Battlefield. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Like I'm kind of coming back to Battlefield. That's like how I started my channel. I did a poll to see like what people wanted from content, and like over like 30% of people like go back to Battlefield. So like I'll probably be playing more of that because they kind of got the game fixed and running. But it's fast. It is fast.
And Fortnite. I will say Fortnite's probably the most hopeful game in the space right now.
They're
the only people doing it right.
Buff loves it. Buff's kind of a. We give him a hard time. He's kind of a Milsim Andy over there, so we give him a hard time about Fortnite. But anyway, dude, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just kind of wanted to take an hour from you, and that's what we got.
Awesome.
Fuck, man. Thank you so much. It was great.
Yeah.
We learned.
Thanks for having me.
It was really good.
I'm gonna go record that audio video now.
All right. And let us know when it's out, and we'll talk about it on here next week too. And you're welcome back anytime you want to come hang out and talk about video games, dude. I just appreciate your time. I know you're super busy.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, we're going to take a real short break, and then we'll come back, and Buff and I are going to hit the rest of these topics. So we'll be right back. All right, man.
I'm ready for it.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Buff, I can't see you. Buff, what happened?
Hello?
You're hiding behind the...
I'm stuck in these pants. Hello?
You're in a giant... Buff.
Hello?
Where...
Can you hear me?
I can see where you
are.
are.
I can't... You guys can see me?
I can kind of see where you're at. Yeah, man. What's going on? Oh, there you are.
I think you muted yourself, Crash. Oh no. Crash muted himself in the excitement.
Just in there, not in here.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. I did get excited. There you are.
We all got excited. Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah, sorry. There was some big breaking COD news in my way there. You guys couldn't see me.
Yeah. So you're back now.
Thank God.
Oh wait, there it is again. Oh no. My God. Oh my God. Get it out of there.
I mean, they say once you find some big breaking COD news, you don't go back. So
yeah, I'm gonna do my best to like stay away from the penis jokes, but it's probably not. It's
hard not to, right?
It's not gonna happen. But dude, that was fucking awesome with Art, dude. That was super
cool. that was really good stuff.
He's doing some cool shit, and like I met him through like Beast Mode Boone and Walt. Those guys that I play with, and I play some Warzone with him. He's just a super good dude, and it's so cool like to see someone that's awesome like to find their niche, you know, and like
Right.
now he's taken off and like he's so well suited for it. He's so smart and like yeah, it's cool. He's doing some really cool, unique content, and it's so awesome to be able to have him on here and kind of show him to our little audience and stuff. And like, dude, it is super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, jeez, man, put it away. Stop. Put it away, dude. But anyway, yeah, I thought
Infinity Ward.
I thought I would set that up. But anyway, yeah, guys, let's go on a little bit farther and talk a little bit about the state of COD. I saw Buff. Were you drunk when you were tweeting over the week? You were fired up on Twitter, dude. Like I was worried about you over there.
Oh man, I was. It was all in good fun, but I mean, I was just like, it was like hilarious to me that that's something they did. Like, how do you not call that out? You know, like Charlie Intel was being all subtle about it, so I was just like, I'm just gonna say what everyone won't say.
It's really weird. Like,
it's really weird, dude.
I don't know how I feel about it. On one
especially because they released a free bundle, which was the eggplant emote for your weapon charm. Yeah. And then the very next day they released that hutch skin. So I mean, like I said, everyone on Twitter was being like subtle, like, oh, this is what COD has become now, and like, look at that, you know, Charlie Intel was being really subtle. So I was just like, all right, well, like it's not subtle. First off, you go back and look at like the Modern Warfare 2019 skins, and I mean, it was subtle, right? But this was not subtle. I just thought it was really weird. Especially, I think there was, people were saying that they scrapped some additional Shadow Company skins for this stuff. It's just really weird. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with the game.
Yeah, I really think it's just along the lines of what we were just talking about with art, where like they know that it's like controversial or whatever, and people are gonna laugh about it, and then now like everybody's talking about it, right? So then everybody's gonna be like, oh, I want that skin, like I'm gonna rock that skin, and like if you ever come by my Twitch streams when we're playing S&D, you know that the edgelords in there love penis jokes. So like, I mean, I think it's just pretty much pandering, and they're gonna make a shitload of money off of it. And I mean, technically, the game is like 18 plus or whatever, so I guess you can have giant wieners in it. It's fine, but
yeah, I haven't seen anybody with that skin yet.
Oh, you don't play Search and Destroy?
No, I'm only DMZ. I haven't seen it yet.
The edgelords love it over there. They love it. So yeah.
The thing is, I don't mind it. Like I don't care. But I just thought it was funny that like that's something that because I mean there's heavy emphasis on what's going on in that guy's pants.
Yeah, and it's just to sell it and be funny, and it's gonna work, and it like
yeah, and that's fine. But just give me like a Navy SEAL skin.
That's it. Right?
Once in a while, just throw me a biscuit, and you can release all the anime furry stuff you want, and I won't complain. I just need something. That's all.
And that's kind of it, right? Like. That's fine to do all that stuff, but you also kind of need to remember your roots, like right? Like technically, it's always been like a military based game. So
especially like you look at the campaign, right? I mean, look at the campaign. The campaign is very grounded. That was one of my things over the weekend. It was almost like there's two very different studios between multiplayer and single player, which I think we know in. You know, there's like several different studios involved. So who knows what was working on what? We know for a fact Infinity Ward was primarily on single player. I'm sure there's a lot like post the bundles and things. I'm sure is like Raven or another studio doing things, which is fine. And I think a lot of the what I've seen on Reddit and on Twitter is that it's all no one cares, but you also have all these assets from the campaign, which you know that's really all that marketing of the campaign is what I feel like sold the game with the campaign coming out early and like, you know, getting leveled up for Warzone. It's just weird that we haven't seen any of that stuff brought in from the campaign. I know we've been discussing that with as far as like maps and things, right? And just the skins. There's been no Task Force 141 members besides Gaz, which, you know, that skin was cool, but you know, where's Soap? Where's Price, Alejandro, Ghost? There's a lot of stuff missing, and it's weird. You would think they would want to come out of the gate hot with some good stuff, and they just haven't been really doing any of it.
And that's kind of it, right? Like everything is about microtransactions and skins and stuff now. And if you're gonna
Yeah.
do like ridiculous, silly stuff too, I feel like you should also make stuff for the people, for like the more mature audience and stuff that likes to kind of play COD and DMZ and like the hardcore modes and stuff, and kind of be a little bit immersed into like the lore and stuff of Call it, like your fans, right? Like your original fans. Like I just
Right.
I just want them to cover the gamut. I don't have a problem. I'm not gonna call like woke or whatever, like furries or I don't give a shit like what skins you have or what you do. I think people should be able to, you know, base their character off who they want to, like whatever gets them immersed, however they want to like be in the game, you know, like to help you enjoy the game. But like I feel like we're going a little bit too far in the making silly stuff for sales, and they're missing some stuff for like the core older audience. They're not kidding everybody. And like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't really bought that many bundles this year. Maybe I want to say like 4 total, probably is what I've bought out of the store so far.
but yeah, I don't, like I said, go crazy, make silly stuff, but also make stuff for your other audience too, right? Like,
and I think they did a good job of that in Modern Warfare 2019. I mean, so that goes to a lot of stuff we were just talking about this with artists. Like a lot of things were rushed. And I don't ultimately, I don't care. If they want to release stuff like that nonstop, it is what it is. I have a couple skins that I can, and you don't see that stuff in DMZ, so it really doesn't bother me. I just thought it was like kind of crazy that's
it was crazy.
That's what came out. Yeah. So I and like I said, Charlie Intel was being like, they were doing the same thing I was, but being like very subtle about it, obviously because they're like COD partners, so they can't be coming in hot like I was. So I was I'm gonna call it exactly how it everyone was thinking it. So
you got to give Modern Warzone some credit though. He wasn't. He said, "I can't believe they put an Arby's commercial in Call of Duty," and they showed the guy. So
I missed that one.
Yeah,
that's
that
good.
was his main tweet. I think I have it pulled up. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So you got to give it like it was funny, and it just they're gonna be silly, so it's gonna be crazy to see what they have next. It's gonna be wild, like this, because they're gonna keep trying to top it. I think. I feel like.
They are, and that's kind of what's scary. I don't know how you top that, but like I was saying with Modern Warfare 2019, I think it was season 2 or 3 is when they started like the actual milsim bundles and things in shop, and I remember they came out with that preseason blog post, and they're like, there was like huge emphasis, like this new thing, milsim, and you know they picked like 3 or 4 different milsims, real world milsim stuff, put it in the game in the battle pass or in the store, and then they put in, you know, the other crazy outlandish COD stuff, which was fine because you had a good mix of everything. So yeah, it just seems like a little bit, again, I don't care, but the guy's got cat ears and a lot of stuff going on there. It's a little weird.
He's back in the heat, man.
Then that he is, and then
carrying 3 weapons.
Yeah, and then that weapon charm again, that eggplant weapon charm is just, it's obvious what the message was there, right? So,
but I will have to say, Siege did it as well. They have a banana charm with ruler on it, with like inch marks and stuff on it. So I mean, we're going phallic. People, it's fine. I would if I had that skin, I would equip it on Fridays and call it Phallic Friday, and we would run around with our yoga pants and our stuff showing.
There you go. But I mean, it is funny. At the end of the day, it's hilarious, and I had a good time on Twitter just calling out how hilarious and crazy it was.
Chase, you missed this. This is Buff's new profile pic now, so I got him good on that. So that's where we're at. Just gonna do the rest of the podcast. Buff is Buff is inside there. That's actually him, and he's talking from inside there.
Yep. How's it going, guys?
Yeah.
Just changing my location. This is my new streaming location.
A little muffled in there. You're talking.
How's it going, guys? Hear me okay?
Is it hot in there? Or?
It is. It's a little moist, Crash.
Oh, you had to say that word. All right. But anyway, other than that, so yeah, it's weird, but they're gonna keep doing it. It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell. Where are you at on like the rest of this with Call of Duty? How are you enjoying DMZ? Like I'm gonna be interested in keeping tabs on you over the weeks as the weeks goes on, as far as like content and stuff like DMZ wise. Are you still like into it?
Yeah, no, I'm literally in love with DMZ.
Still like keeping you hooked?
Yeah, I'm addicted to it. I'm like a drug addict. So I'm in love with it. And now we have 3 maps. Building 21 is live on the weekends. I ran one Building 21 run last night for a crown mission, and it was fun as hell. We ran in with the shotguns, the new Vepr 12s. With I had a 25 round drum and Dragon's Breath, and was just like deleting players
There were
and
people
the
using
AI
that in
too.
search, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's wild. That thing's got to catch a nerf, I'm sure, because it's pretty crazy, especially with the Dragon's Breath. But it was fun. So, DMZ is really fun. I think the one thing though, you and I didn't discuss this before, but engine owning. I mean, I know we discussed the lawsuit, like they're liable for $3 million in damages from Activision. And engine owning, because of that, they had a free weekend this past
Really?
weekend. Yeah, so as long as you had an account, everything was free. So DMZ Saturday night was rough.
Wait, wait,
We
wait,
ran
wait,
into
wait, wait, wait,
cheaters
wait, wait.
almost every game.
So Engine Oni will have free weekends where people can like use them,
Yeah,
like just
and
whatever.
I think because they're with the lawsuits, this was one of them. I'm not sure how many they have previously, but they have done it before. But everything was free as long as you had an account. So I mean, in DMZ, we ran into speed hackers, a lot of lag switches, right? Everything's completely fine. And then all of a sudden you start lagging horribly. The mics, you can't hear anything. And then a team just happens to know where you are and roll up. So we would catch the lag every time, the team of cheaters got close. They'd hit the lag
Wow.
switch. And it was obvious too, because we were doing one of the times we were doing a hostage rescue, and all of a sudden, as we're driving to it, we just start latency through the roof, over 1,000. Can't hear. We're skipping all over the place. I'm like teleporting back to the spawn underwater across the map, and there's like a team camping our exfil chopper with the hostage. So we ran into I'd say the lag switches was what I ran into the most in DMZ Saturday, and that was really annoying. It was probably like
Wow.
9 games in a row of cheaters of some type, which was really, really bad.
We didn't cover it. We didn't cover it too much with Art, but I guess this might be a good time to talk about that Tarkov cheater video. I didn't discuss
Yeah.
it as much as I wanted to. I
Yep.
didn't. I just did it. That guy is super busy. I didn't want to take like a ton of his time. Um, but I did kind of want to talk about that a little bit. And I guess since we're talking about
Me too. Yeah.
assholes, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
So
They go hand in hand for
yeah,
sure. These two.
they're assholes. So
Yeah.
if you guys missed it, a guy named Goat Moth, or people call him Goat with a zero. He did a video talking about cheaters, and what he did was he downloaded a form of cheats for Tarkov, where he could see people through the map. He could see all their information. He could see like just where they were. There was also a radar that could tell where people were and where they were pointed. And you guys know Tarkov doesn't have a mini map, so super super broken cheats. And he went through I think 125 raids or so. And what
It
he
was
was doing,
160 something. I thought 100 like
160.
68. Yeah.
I couldn't remember the number. It was quite a few.
Something. Oh yeah, it was a lot.
Um, but what he did was he went around and he could see players with super high KDs and he would watch them because he could see everybody through the map. He'd watch them approach. He would see them lock on him through the map. And then what he would
Right.
do, there would be walls, buildings, everything with him, and he would wiggle, and then the cheaters would wiggle back, and you could just see their wireframe cheats through that because they would be able to see him through the map.
Yeah.
And he concluded, so he had to have like hard proof like that.
Hmm.
60% of his raids, he confirmed or thought to have cheaters in Tarkov. Just an absolute astounding number of raids had cheaters in them. Incredibly suspect cheaters. Like, so there's a couple things, if you're going scientifically, you have to point out. That is, even though that sounds like a lot, that's a pretty small sample size. The other thing is you're relying on him to deduce cheaters. He showed a lot of video evidence, right? Like he
Yeah,
would
he
see
did.
him, he would lean, they would lean. He would watch them lock on. He would move around the map, and you could see which way they were pointed on the radar, and they would follow him. So you could see that.
He even got verbal confirmation from a couple of them
Yeah,
too.
that people would say, yeah. And the other thing that really was bullshit about it was they would also they were teaming up with him because the cheaters would
Yeah.
want to team up with him, like, oh, you're doing the thing too, yeah, well, let's run together. So the
Right.
cheaters were actually teaming up. in game and going around. It was almost like it turned into like a us versus them thing with the cheaters versus legit players. And I guess you guys can probably determine who won those fights. So it was just horrible. And then the reaction to it was really weird. Yeah, he used cheats to get evidence of cheaters. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't shoot at any players. He didn't fire his gun. He was just kind of in there observing. Now, that comes with a lot of ethical questions, right? And one who Art was talking about, Trey 24K was super against it. Like he was like, you can't, because the people who were against it were a lot of streamers and stuff, big content creators, and they were saying that it was like a cheat commercial, like it was like promoting them, like to get other people to do it. My opinion, I don't know what you think, Buff. It's like if people want to cheat, there's Google. It exists. They're gonna figure it out. Like the people who want to cheat are probably already cheating. Like I don't know. I don't feel like it's an advertisement because the people that want to do it are already gonna do it. Could it persuade like legit people to do it? Maybe so. I guess I could see people on the edge like, well, everybody else is doing it. I need to do it now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's like cheating or a bad thing. I think it brought to light the amount of cheaters that there are, because it's one thing to know, like you said, he was using the ESP cheats. So you had a bottom right hand corner, almost like a mini map that showed all the players and the directions they were facing, and they would turn red when they had direct line of sight on you, where there wasn't like buildings in the way, and they were looking at you. So you could see everyone on the map, and you would see their wireframe all over the map, through walls, buildings on the other side of the map. Not only would you see their wireframe, you'd see their name, what weapon they currently had out. Okay, so you would know if they he was running around with a knife a lot. People would see that why are you running with it? Why do you just down there with a knife? So you could see the weapon that they were using. You could also see their KD, their in-game player name, and some more information too. So he could look at players and look at suspicious KDs. And he had a conversation with the one guy, like, yeah, I saw, that guy had a KD of like 15, like a cheater killed a cheater or something. He's like, yeah, well, I gotta lower mine, because his KD was too high, so he needed to lower it so it wasn't so suspicious. This one dude. So that's one thing. And he also concluded that, I think, Crash, you mentioned, I think it was 60% of his raids he found cheaters. Yeah. And it's also important to note that's only of the players in the raids that he was able to like get close to and confirm with wiggle or verbal confirmation. There was other players that he couldn't get close enough to like get solid evidence via wiggle or them saying something about it that was 100% positive proof. And then you have players die, players extract, etc. So out of all the players in the raid, how many, he only was able to get to a few of them per raid. So is it more? Is it less? The thing is, there basically every raid, he said there's at least one cheater in there, and they can see you through walls. They can see what gun you have. They can see what direction you're facing. And there was a couple occasions where he got it was, even though they didn't wiggle at him, it was obvious based on the ESP cheats. You could see that they knew where he was, and they were monitoring him and getting like nervous because he would be like following players around and wiggling at them constantly, so they can see him through the walls doing that, and they're like, oh man, what's this guy doing? So some of these guys, like, it was interesting to see. He's like, hey man, I'm just whatever, wiggling, and then there was a brief little teeny tiny window of an opening where there would be direct line of sight with no like hard walls, and then their box would turn red on the wireframe and on the mini map, noting that, showing that they had direct line of sight, and instantly he would get killed by a one tap. So not only was there ESP, there was like aimbot and things like that going on. So it was pretty crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah.
That right there makes me not want to go back and play Tarkov anytime soon. I love Tarkov. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I think because it boomed in popularity, around the time and right after I was playing it and off it, you get more cheats like this. And I mean, like I said, he only tested the ESP, so there's a lot more out there too that isn't being obviously not being blocked, because he was running into a lot of cheaters killing cheaters in the raids. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you can just by being able to look at the KD, you could see, it was pretty obvious someone has like a 15 plus KD.
Yeah, and I get both sides of it too, because I mean there could be some people with like room temperature IQs that are like, oh, I'm gonna cheat now. Look how easy it is and stuff. I guess, but at the same time, it is a wake up call to the community. I feel like, and obviously to Battle State. So they tweeted today. I pulled this up.
Oh, really?
They tweeted around new today that they've decided to resume the practice of sharing the information about large ban waves. So they banned 4,000 people over the weekend. So they're obviously paying attention now, and it's getting stuff to happen. And that's what we were talking about with art, with the LUTs. Like, you have to do something drastic to get Battle State to pay attention. Kind of what Veritas did with fixing the recoil and the movement and stuff like that. So that's what he did. I think I have to say, while I get the other side of it, that showing cheats really sucks and it could make other people do it, I don't see another way to show it. He did another follow-up video today talking about it, and the funny thing was that the cheat that he installed, you have to uninstall Valorant, because Valorant's Vanguard will catch the Tarkov cheat. And it won't let it run. So Valorant's anti-cheat will catch the Tarkov cheat. You have to not run it. So they have some work to do there. That cheat's been around for 2 years, he said. And the thing about showing it too, there's been other videos where people have talked about it, but I feel like it's like a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? He could sit here and say, I probably saw cheaters in 60% of my lobbies. That does not have the same effect on you as when you see that shit. Like when you see the player wiggle, or you see like, oh, this guy's cheating. He's through a bush and clear across the map. As soon as he turns red in line of sight, I bet I die. Boom, he's dead. It's like he could see that. And when you see that, it's like, holy shit. It just had that effect on the community. It got across what he wanted to get across. I agree. It's muddy. It's muddy with ethics. I see both sides of it. Like, you should never, ever cheat.
I do like that he had his own rule set where he's not shooting anybody and never killing PMCs, all of that. So I think he went about it the right way. And like you said, I mean, the purpose of what he did was to bring awareness to it. And it did. Definitely did. It accomplished the goal. So the alternative was, like you said, if he didn't show that, didn't do it, and just said, I think there's cheaters, this is what maybe, that doesn't, like you said, it doesn't hold the same weight to it as showing it. And, that makes you question a lot of stuff, especially and if you think, I mean, that stuff's going on in Tarkov, this is where it ties into the Call of Duty and any other FPS. Those are the same types of cheats that are going on. Like I've seen those same things when some of the cheaters get caught on their streams having the ESPs and stuff. It's the same thing. So yeah, if it's bringing awareness and it's allowing Battle State to get on top of it, because it's a serious issue. And again, it ties into everything that was going on this weekend with engine owning. I mean, the same crap. So I mean, hopefully Battle State is downloading these cheats and seeing how they work, reverse engineering them. Hopefully Infinity Ward, Raven, all of them are doing the same thing with the engine owning stuff and understanding how they work and how to counter them. But if you're saying this ESP thing's 2 years old, that's pretty wild right there. It's been around that long and hasn't been caught, but you can't run LUTs or can't have some of your community drop you like a streamer kit to use in game because they think it's a form of payment. It's tough, but I think it brought awareness to it, and it also makes me go back and question a lot of my Tarkov tests. There was always some fishy stuff, you could always tell, but that, like you said, seeing it is huge.
Yeah, and it's just so hard to tell. That's one of the big turnoffs with Tarkov. It's like, especially with like the dark maps and the bad visibility. So it's like, did I die to something? Like, you have no clue. If it's legit or not. So, but anyway,
you could even tell by looking. I just want to say with the minimap part, right? You could even tell with the minimap because it shows the direction they're facing. So like, there'd be some people that like look at him, and like acting like they're not seeing him. It was just pretty obvious, even when he didn't get the confirmation that other people were doing
Yeah,
it.
and then there were some people that were just blatant like rage hacking that would like
So.
follow him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad. And I don't know where they go from there, but I thought it was I just watched before we went live. I watched this follow-up video and where he said that the
I have to
Valorant
watch that.
anti-cheat caught it. I'm like,
Yeah, that's wild.
whoa, that's
wild.
crazy. So yeah, but anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on with COD. That's what's going on with Tarkov. I just wanted to cover that because I know it's like it's a really touchy subject, and I'm not sure where I stand. I see both sides of it, but I think at the end of the day, I think the community's probably a little bit better off that he did it because it's definitely bringing awareness to it.
I agree completely.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess I was gonna talk. I really don't have much for quick shots, guys, other than the Destiny stuff. So and it's getting kind of long anyway. So I was just gonna kind of talk about Battlefield if everybody's cool with that a little bit. I did a Battlefield stream on YouTube yesterday, and I had fun.
Yeah, is the game better?
Yeah,
Should I reinstall?
It's a lot better. I'm probably gonna play it a little more, and and I kind of kept making the joke. I kind of kept making the joke that what I did was essentially I didn't play the game for long enough. Like I haven't really played hardly at all since season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So my joke was, since I just kind of left the game, then now one map a season. Now I'm coming back, and it's kind of like a DLC.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's been like 3 or 4 maps added to the game, so it's kind of like a real DLC. But they've reworked almost everything. And I did have fun. The class system makes it way more readable. Like you can tell what's going on, kind of how people play. I know a lot of people say it's like not a fix. It didn't make it better. It felt better to me. I could kind of, and I feel like as I played it more, I could kind of learn what specialists do what, and you would kind of know what you're gonna see. So I think it really did help a lot. I would call it the pseudo class system. And I'm really kind of to the point where it's not a great Battlefield, but it's a kind of a Battlefield now. It plays well. There's more content now. I think essentially they've almost reworked all the base maps, so they play a lot better, and it's just much better. Is it what I want? Is it my perfect Battlefield? Not even close. It's missing a lot of stuff that I wish it would have had day one still to this day. Yeah. But I'm probably gonna play it more. I'm probably gonna play it more, stream more. I might even start making more content about the game again. Because at the end of the day, I had fun.
Too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna reinstall it too. I mean, mainly I want to try out some of the new weapons that they're adding here because it's funny because it's stuff like I had in my Battlefield weapon wishlist video and even in my Modern Warfare 2 weapon wishlist video is stuff they're adding right now. So
yeah,
that RM68 and then the LMG, which is based on that new Russian prototype, the RPL-20. I definitely want to play with, and they're running that little Master Key shorty shotty. So there's some good weapons here, and I think this is also the most weapons they've added for a season so far. So
yeah.
It does look good. The map looks nice.
What I think is gonna happen, I think I'm just kind of conceding with like season 2 of COD that this is just the kind of amount of content we can expect, and I'm a little bit defeated by it. But there's not really an alternative other than to keep making content and I guess keep saying my opinion that I think the amount of maps in the DLC content is incredibly lame. Like it's not cool.
Yeah.
And what's gonna happen, I feel like, is now I can play the game and have fun, and if I grind it out, I'm gonna get really bored with the maps really quick.
Yeah.
But and they're all similar too. Like this is the map for the new one. And man, it's like it's really similar to the others, right? You have a central point of interest, like a big building, and then it's like rolling hills and openness around it with a couple outposts. Like there's no like urban maps that are like all urban and stuff. There's no like much like foresty type maps and stuff, I guess orbital, but it's like all the maps kind of have that same layout, I feel like, where it's like wide open rolling hills and then like a central point of combat, like with a building and stuff. So
Yeah.
it seems
This one does
it's gonna
remind
go.
me. It does remind me a little bit of one of the Battlefield 4 DLC maps. Just like the I forgot what it was called. But regardless, the outdoor portion does look similar, and you're right. It does look kind of similar to like what we've seen so far with the game, um, which
the
is
the
weird. We'll
season
see how
the
it plays.
the season 5 map looked really cool. Like the concept art for that looked really cool. I
That's
thought
that like indoor cube one or whatever it is.
no. I can try to find it. So they are gonna do a season 5. They're done with specialists, and I'm really hoping that season 5 isn't like the last update for Battlefield 5,
Mm.
where they're like, here's one last map. We'll see you later. We're done. Where they added Al Marge encampment in June, and that was like the end of the game. I'm hoping that's not what's going on here. But it could be. I'll try to find for the map. It looks to me, it looks kind of like Zavod, to be honest.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think I did see some things for that, and I remember you saying that last time too, which is good
it's
because I love Zavad.
yeah. It looks cool. It looks also kind of like with the trains and the mountain stuff.
hmm
Corellia. It kind of looks like that one too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But yeah. So I'll try to pull it up here. We can maybe see it.
And yeah, for everybody, I mean, I'm definitely I'll reinstall it and give it a go just because I want to mess around with the weapons. But I mean, for sure, if you guys are really curious, like just go back on YouTube and look at like all the trailers and stuff for old Battlefield 3 for those DLCs, and just get lost in the YouTube hole for a little bit and look at all that old DLC content for Battlefield 3 for all the DLCs they did, because and then just compare that to now, you know, whether it's comparing it to Call of Duty or Battlefield, regardless, both games used to have similar systems. It's kind of crazy looking at what it used to be to what it is now. But yeah, I see the concept art there. That looks cool for sure.
And if it does come out like this, like the concept art didn't necessarily match the maps we got. I
hmm
feel like if it does come out like this, like it looks, that'll be really neat with the graffiti on the wall, like the pile of burning pallets, like all the
Yeah,
debris laying around. It looks like a war torn. And they said
exactly.
in the
Yeah.
lore of the map, it's where battle happened many years ago, and it's become a POI again, and they're fighting over it, so it's all dilapidated and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
What's it? Is there a name for this one yet or no?
no name for it yet, but they
I
did
wonder
say
if
that it's its own unique thing. It's not like a
oh, it's
remaster.
not a return.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe
They
it's based on a real
they
world
answered
location. We'll remember.
they answered that on Twitter. Because a lot
Okay.
of people, where they said it's returning to a place that was combat years ago, like
hmm
people thought, oh, they're gonna like remaster something, which is also ironic because then it shows how much people are thirsty for older maps to be remastered, and there's nothing added to Portal, which makes zero fucking
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks cool if it comes out like this. It'll be sweet, and I hope this isn't the last one and they're done, and then like, okay, in 2024 or 2025 we'll do the new one, and we have another like super long content drought. The other thing I could see them kind of doing is taking the amount of maps that they would have normally released in a year
hmm
cycle and trickle them out so it lasts longer until the next game. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that it's kind of it's also weird because I remember like Battlefield 4 was supported up till 2016, and that game came out in 2013. And I mean, even 3 years after release, they were still bringing out new maps and reworks of maps and community maps and things like that too. So, um, there's such a larger team now. Who knows what they're going to end up doing? Right?
yeah,
I hope this update's good, and more than anything, I hope the next game is actually like a solid one on release. That's all we can pray for.
yeah. The drip feed. But no, my next Battlefield video I think I'm working on is I'm gonna do like a little, not like a full out game show, but like a little quiz show, because you can go back and look at all the articles from like IGN and stuff about Battlefield, and they all say the same thing about how broken it is and stuff. So I'm gonna do a video where I pull up the articles and like the quotes on how broken it is at release, and then ask which Battlefield it is, and it could be any of like the last 4.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys gonna learn that just to please finish a game before you release it? Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. It's always like the running joke is Battlefield games always release broken as heck.
But it does release tomorrow.
Yeah.
With the new Camilla Blasco specialist. She's gonna be recon. She basically has a I think she has a gadget she can put down that keeps her from being spotted and popping up on the mini map and stuff. So it's like a stealth beacon.
Okay.
So she can kind of hide from that. And then I was trying to find on here what new guns there were going to be. There's going to be a new the shotgun sidearm, the next gen RM68 assault rifle, and hipfire with the AC9 SMG and the RPT31 LMG. So this is like the most weapons they've added, like you said, and a sticky grenade launcher I saw. So I think since I'm on like parental leave, I think I'll probably stream this on YouTube tomorrow during the day maybe and see what's up. But check it out.
Yeah, damn it, do they know how to do trailers? That's for sure.
Yeah, the trailer teams have been carrying.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like so. Yeah, Battlefield Season 4 tomorrow. It's super early in the morning for us when it releases, but I'm going to check it out sometime during the day, I think. And I kind of maybe get back into Battlefield. So, because it's so crazy, like how people still come to my channel for that. Like it's wild, like how like YouTube does that. Because I posted on my YouTube channel, like what just for feedback, like what kind of content would you like to see?
Yeah.
75% of it was like play Battlefield again, like Battlefield content, Battlefield content. So it's like.
And now, like you said, you haven't been there for so long, so you're coming back. It's like you got all this stuff. You're gonna have fun now.
On my stream yesterday, I played with USA Specialist. He's another really awesome Battlefield creator, and it was so nice because like he was just answering questions. I felt like a new player. I was like, "So what does this specialist do?" It's like, "Oh, they added this gun." It's like, "Oh, they got the SOFLAM and like all that. Like, oh, they got EOD bot." Like I was just like. It felt like a DLC kind of like really because they've reworked like 3 maps since I've played and there's like 3 new maps since I played, so like it kind of did. So that's all you got to do, guys, in modern FPS gaming. Play it at launch and then just stop for a whole year, let the content trickle out.
Year and a half.
And then when
a year and a half.
And yeah, year and a half, and then when you come back it's like, oh, it's like a DLC. So that's all you got to do. Figured it out.
We should have realized that before.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's funny.
So yeah, guys, I think that's probably pretty much a show. Only thing I was really going to talk about in quick shots was like Destiny's new DLC. You can preload that today. It's huge. The Lightfall or whatever. But things kind of went long with art and stuff, so I don't want to go on too awful long. If anybody, you want to do Q&A for just a little bit?
Yeah, we can do some quick Q&A. That's fine with me.
While we wrap stuff up here. So yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to talk about or ask, let us know in chat. We can do that for just a little bit. Housekeeping stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. Keep an eye out for the audio podcast. All that stuff's going to keep going. I think Blue's going to be joining us more often. I think it's really fun when the 3 of us are on here messing around, having fun. So yeah, you guys have anything? If not, we will probably see you guys next week. Have you been doing any like DMZ streams and stuff, or you just kind of played it for content, for gun content?
I did some last week, and I like have a lot of good footage I need to turn to some videos. I'm trying to like figure out how I want to do DMZ raid videos, because it's like I don't want to do like, oh, here's this gun. I don't know. I got to do something a little bit different with it, I feel like, to make it a little bit different than the Warzone stuff I used to do. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I've been streaming it. I have a lot of good raids where just like really good firefights that I want to like go through and break those down. That's what I love about DMZ, man. I mean, it was just 2 of us trying to do some missions and we got ambushed by a 3-man. And like they were coordinated as heck and split up and like surrounded us, and we killed the heck out of them. It's when they're all dead, they're all like pleading for help. It's like, dude, it's just funny because it's like, you shot at us. We're just trying to do missions. I really love DMZ. It's fun. But yeah, I'll be doing some more streams probably this week or weekend for sure. I'll be doing some this weekend. DMZ is just a blast. I can play that forever.
Cool, man. I need to get.
And then we got your Battlefield streams coming up from Crash here.
Yeah,
so
I'll probably stream some Season 4 tomorrow, guys. If you're around, I had a really good viewership on that stream. It was crazy. Like there were people coming to watch me play and struggle along, and it was pretty funny. Hey, I still have a 266 KD on Battlefield Tracker, top 10%. So I can still play the game. Don't you worry. I missed a question. so I can see what the hell's going on. If you could get any gun for EDC, which would it be? Buff, what's EDC? Am I stupid?
I don't know what EDC is
Earthy
either.
Teddy, what's EDC? Am I an idiot?
EDC, everyday carry. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Any gun for everyday carry?
Everyday carry?
Oh my god.
I want one of the, I can't remember what they're called, but Wilson Combat makes their, it's not an ultra carry, that's Kimber. But their version of it, it's like a miniature slim 1911 from Wilson. Those are it. Who is Artist War? So at the beginning, SS, we talked to him. He is a content creator, up and coming content creator that's like shaking stuff up with his tech videos, like to help with LUTs, and it's a little bit advanced, and stream setups and audio settings. He can help you like get the most out of your games with like visuals and that kind of stuff. He's a camera operator on shows like Better Call Saul and some of that kind of stuff, so he knows visuals and audio. And he's just doing really cool stuff in the gaming space, really disrupting stuff with what he's doing. Got Battle State to ban his LUTs within 3 days, so like he's doing really cool stuff. It was awesome to have him on the show. Can't thank him enough. D Kraut, yeah, let's play, man. Let's run it. Everyday carry. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm really sorry. Everybody knew it but me. I'm terrible. What I do now for carry is I have a Smith & Wesson Shield 40. It's pretty nice. Compact that I like. More accurate than I thought it would be. I can actually shoot it pretty well. I think this summer too, when the weather gets nice, since I built my backstop in my pasture, I might do some range streams on Twitch. This summer.
Yes, please.
Doing some
please
shooting.
do.
Might be pretty fun.
We got to get you an M82 out there. My local gun store has an M82 for like 3,200, and I always go in there and look at it. I'm like, I mean, I kind of feel like I need this, you know, like who doesn't need an M82 just in case we get invaded and there's tanks and, you know, do some American stuff. Yeah, we'll send it over to Crash and he can test it for us.
A box cutter and a high point. That's all you need. That's awesome. What's a game you remembered or experienced that you hated much, but it still sells well? Buff, you can take that one from Edward.
That I hated that sells well. I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the bat because like I really don't play a lot of games is the problem. If something appeals to me, like I'll play it and I'm gonna always play it. There's really nothing I have bought that I got. The only thing I can think of that I like bought and I hated it and returned it was Black Ops 3. I mean, it doesn't still sell well, but it sold well. But that's the only one I can think of at the top of my head.
I can't think of one. Battlefield 2042. It still sold well, but I hated it. At launch. What else do you see? Wilson Combat has a new gun. I'll check that out. That's what my 1911 is, a Wilson Combat KZ45, and I love it. 5.56, 458, 50, or 300 Black Ops EQC. I love my 458 for everything. I think it's such an awesome round. I think it's super versatile. Because I can shoot a 500 grain massive bullet, subsonic and quiet, and it hits like a freaking cannonball. Or you can drop it down to the 300 grain and shoot it pretty darn fast and fairly flat for as big as it is. So I just really like the flexibility. That's why I built that AR in 458, because I think it's a really flexible round. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's probably a program.
Yeah, that was good. I really like talking to Art. I think if you guys haven't seen that Tarkov cheater video, even if you're not like into Tarkov, I think it gives very good insight into, you know, a lot of things that are probably going on potentially in the FPS game online you're playing too, because it all crosses over. So just do a YouTube search, Tarkov cheaters or Tarkov I cheated, and you'll find the video. It's like 40 minutes, but it doesn't feel like 40 minutes because you'll be on the edge of your seat the whole time. He did a really good job with that.
Yep. Agree, Teddy. For like self-defense or whatever, almost anything, give me a shotgun, dude. Like
I will. I see. I like that question, Teddy. My buddies and I in college would always like, "What gun would you want for a zombie apocalypse?" I always had to say like, I'm gonna go with like an M60 or a saw. So I want the LMG, man.
That would be pretty cool. My buddy, he has an X rail. I don't know if you've heard of those. That goes on his shotgun. So on a Benelli Super
Oh,
90,
okay.
it goes on the end of the tube, and there's like 4 different tubes that hold like 8 rounds. And when one's empty, you just twist the tube and it fills your mag again.
That's
So like
epic.
when it empties, so you can put like 30 rounds in it of shotgun. So like that's where I would be. That's where I
Yeah,
would
those
be.
those zombies don't stand.
I
a
also
chance.
I have a mag tube extension that goes on my Beretta
Mhm.
391, and I can put 13 rounds in it, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I would go. I'm a big shotgun fan. I know lots more about shotguns than I do anything else, and ballistics and stuff.
You gonna get that 4-gauge one that I sent you from Garantham?
I wish. I have 3 10 gauges, so bigger
There
than a
you go.
12, and my dad has an 8. My dad has an 8 bore, which is cool. I actually have, yeah, holy shit. I have an 8 gauge shotgun shell right here. So that's a 8 bore shotgun shell.
I want to see that compared to a 4. Holy shit!
And so this is a normal 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch, and then this is an 8 gauge. So I do. My dad does have an 8, and that's 2 1/4 ounces of lead BBs. So
And I think with the 4-gauge that Garantham was showing there, he was putting near the end of the video, he was putting a 12-gauge in the 4-gauge. Is how big it is.
yeah,
That's wild.
you can put that in there. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, guys, not really earthy, Teddy. No, I have a couple friends with mag tube extensions that extend past the barrel a few inches, and it doesn't expand that fast. I believe that, Sergio. Sergio is saying in chat that a Siege YouTuber discovered through official channels that they're canceling R6 Extraction DLC. I don't know anyone who's playing R6 Extraction. That was that was an Ubisoft game that was a facepalm from the beginning. I thought I did not.
It already, because it was a DLC to Rainbow Six originally.
Yeah,
it's really strange.
It's a weird game.
That.
But
Very
anyway,
weird.
guys, thank you so much. Buff, appreciate your time as well. I hope to see many of you next week.
It was fun.
I had a lot of fun. And until then,
I'll try not to get lost in some leggings next week, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got caught up in there.
I did.
Get you out of there. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Peace.